Hey everyone, I'm Sam, co-founder of Dagger, and today I will show you how to build a dev environment for Snowpark Container Services. So in case you're not familiar with Snowpark Container Services, it's basically a way to run your applications directly on your Snowflake account. And I wanted to give it a try. And so what I started to do is I went through the tutorial that Snowflake provides. And so this is really the first tutorial that shows you how to use an example app that has a Docker file and some Python backend and frontend. And then the tutorial shows you how to use repositories that you can create directly on your Snowflake account, and then use Docker to build those containers, and then go through creating a service. All of this is done through SQL queries directly. So in case you're familiar with Snowflake already, this is really a common thing to use SQL for interacting with Snowflake. And then, well, what I can see also, what I found interesting while going through the tutorial is that the container has a spec. So clearly there is a Kubernetes behind that is exposed through those queries. And so it's pretty easy to use. And then going through using the function that you just deployed. So the interesting thing is you use a SQL query also to call the function that you just deployed from your container. So I went through this tutorial. I won't do it for you here, but just to give you an idea, that's the Snowflake Snowsite interface that you use usually with Snowflake. And I did created a compute pool, created a service exactly like in the tutorial, and then call the function, and then boom, I can call the function that I just deployed from the tutorial. That said, it's not the I was thinking when I completed I thought, well, it's not exactly the kind of dev environment that I would like. Usually I prefer to do everything from my terminal, and I use VS Code. So I thought, well, that's a perfect use case for Dagger. So the first thing I did is I created a Dagger module for Snowflake CLI. It allows you to run any queries to your Snowflake instance. It's not specific to Snowpark. You can run any queries you want. And I published it to the Daggerverse so anyone can use it. And then I built this demo that I'm going to show you now. It aims to be reusable, meaning it takes the tutorial, builds a dev environment using Dagger, and then you can make it evolve. So if you use Snowpark already, you can easily use this repository, clone it, modify it, extend it pretty easily. So I'm going to switch now to my dev environment and show you how it works. So sharing the other window. So what you see here on the left is the code of the backend directly taken from the tutorial. I haven't modified it. I just took it as is. And then the second thing I did was to build a module, but this time it's actually my dev environment. So let's interact with this module. So I have Dagger installed on my local machine. I'm going to list the functions. And I see, and sorry, my terminal is a bit, yeah, I moved the window. So I have a build function that builds the container. It basically takes the code from the tutorial. So it's the example app that you saw earlier. It has a Dockerfile, Python app. So I created a simple build. So I'm going to call it right there. Oh, sorry. I'm going to call the function build. It's running the build, and boom, I see that the build gives me the ref of the image that was published. So here I see the build function returns the string, and the string is the target that was published. Then I see the deploy function actually calls the build. So what I was interested to have is a way to work on the code of my app and deploy it constantly without having to do anything else. So I'm gonna call a deploy. So I call deploy. It actually takes a config file. So I didn't talk about well, I'll show you quickly. But the config file is the first thing you need to do when you use this demo is basically a connection config with your credentials. The reason it's taken as an argument is because it's actually a secret. So I don't want to leak this data in the logs. So for that, I pass the secret. I instruct that it's a file. I pass it to Dagger, deploy, and should go pretty quick. I see the statements, the SQL statements being executed because I have a bunch to assume the role that I'm using for the demo. And then boom, I have the spec of the container that is deployed and statement executed successfully. Something I can do also is grab the URL of my app, because the app comes with the front end. So the front end is a simple web form where you can make a function call. So it has a small input, and you type the input, and it will be the argument for the function that I just deployed. To show you the code real quick before calling the function, so there is a health check, and that's the function, and it's right there. So get echo response is actually the handler for the function that processes my function, my functions code. And so here it will basically print the character name, said, and my input. So let's call it. So instead of using the web UI, I'm interested actually to call it directly using SQL. So I will do that with a Dagger function. So let's do Dagger call. Well, actually, I will reuse this, and I will pass an input, and I will say hello. So hello is my input here. So I call the function. I see, and boom, it returns the string. Bob said hello. Great, so it works. I can call my app. So what's happening here, just to make sure you understand what's going on, this string has been generated by a Python backend that is running inside a container on Snowpark Container Services on my Snowflake instance. So yeah, just a simple SQL query, and all of the abstraction is managed by Snowflake. So let's change some code actually and redo a deploy. So in that way, let's change the default character name. So it's taken as a just to simulate a change of config. So here I will let's call the character name Alice. And so what it will do is change the environment variable that is passed to the container. I will rerun a deploy. It should be pretty fast.
And while that's loading, Sam, question came in. Where is the Snowflake's instance running? Is that a Dagger service running locally?
No, it's actually all remote. It's all remote. I basically deployed. So, well, let me just call the echo, boom, boom, just to show you that it works. And yeah, so it's using, so yeah, Alice said hello. So now I made a code change, and I have my dev environment running, and I just need to call deploy again, and it will recall the build with my changes, and it will work. And so yes, to answer the question, in yeah, it's running, the instance is running on Snowpark on my Snowflake account, and here I wanted to deploy the instance itself on directly from Snowsite while going through the tutorial, but now actually I have an interface to run any query that I want. I could even store those queries in separate files on my repo and have the whole provisioning of the Snowflake service in Dagger functions. So that's yeah, I kept it simple for the example, but it can be evolved. And that's it.